Hello, Dr. Su. This is Bindusri Adalam. Today, I'm going to present you my database systems project on airline reservation system. So first, let's see the purpose of the project. As the name suggests, the main objective of this project is to help the customers book their airline tickets. This system provides convenience for the customers to book the flights as when they require. This project on airline reservation system provides the information about airline schedule, the details about the airport, and the list of different airlines operating from departure airport to arrival airport. It also provides information about the departure date, departure time, arrival date, and arrival time of the flights. Next, coming to the operational scenarios, the system enables the customers to do things such as search for airline flights for their travel destinations on a specified date. So basically, what happens here is the user keeps filter for the departure city, arrival city, departure date, and arrival date. Once this is done, the system displays the list of available flights and allows the customer to choose a particular flight. Then the system checks for the availability of seats on the flight. If the seats are available, then the system allows the passenger to book a seat. Otherwise, it asks the user to choose another flight. And also, for the user to, in order to book a flight, the system asks the customer to enter his details such as first name, last name, email, and age. Once the user enters these details, then it allows the customer to book the flight and it updates the airline database and user database. The system also allows the customer to cancel his or her reservation if any problem occurs. The SQL database I used in this project is MySQL Workbench. So MySQL Workbench is a unified visual tool and it's useful in the SQL development. So I used this MySQL Workbench and created a database called flight reservation and then created the tables and queries. ER diagram. The entity relationship diagram diagrammatically depicts a data system's entities, that is tables, and the relationship among those tables. So the basic elements of an entity relationship diagram are entities, that is tables, relationships, and attributes, that is columns in a table. So now let's see the steps involved in creating an ER diagram. So the first step is to identify and define the entities. That is, when we are creating a database, we first logically design all the tables required to form the database. Then the second step is to determine all the interaction among the entities. So once we identify the tables required, we also identify the interactions among the different tables. Then the next step is analyzing the nature of interactions or determining the cardinality of relationships. So the third step is to determine the relationship among the tables. Once this is done, in the final step, we can create the entity relationship diagram. So now let's see the different types of relationships. The first one is one-to-one relationship. Say, for example, we have two entities, A and B. If one instance of an entity, A, is related with one alternative instance of another entity, B, then the relationship is said to be one-to-one. Say, for example, in a database of a customer, each customer name can have only one corresponding customer ID in the other entity. So this relation is one-to-one. The next is one-to-many relationship. So if if one case of an entity A is associated with 0, 1, or many instances of another entity B, and the opposite situation must be false. That is, for one situation of entity B, there is only one instance of entity A. Then such kind of relationship is said to be one-to-many relationship. For example, consider a network of all the customers using a mobile network. Say, for example, we have the mobile network AT&T. The network AT&T is associated with many different customers, but the opposite, that is, those customers all share the same single network with entity AT&T. So this relationship is said to be one-to-many relationship. Many-to-many, the next one is many-to-many relationship. If one situation of an entity A is associated with 1, 0, or many instances of another entity B, and one instance of entity B is associated with 1, 0, or many instances of entity A, then the relationship is said to be many-to-many relationship. Say, for example, for a network in which all the customers has network offers, each instance of a customer is associated with many instances of a network offers. That is, one single customer can have multiple offers, multiple network offers. And at the same time, each instance of a network offers has multiple users associated with it. That is, the instance of any network offer can have multiple users who are holding that offer. So this kind of relationship is said to be many-to-many relationship. Now, let's see what the primary key and foreign key are. Primary key. A primary key is a key that uniquely identifies all the table records. The main features of the primary key are it must contain a unique value for each row of data, and it cannot contain null values. A primary key is either existing table column or a column that is specifically generated by the database according to a defined sequence. Foreign key. Foreign key is a field in the table that uniquely identifies a row in another table. For example, a foreign key is outlined within the second table, but it refers to the primary key in the first table. It acts as a reference between tables because it references the primary key of another table, thereby establishing a link between them. So this is the ER diagram created in this project. As you can see, these are the different tables: user table, booking table, airport table, pilot, flight, route, airline, and flight pilot. So in the user table, this user ID is primary key, that is uniquely identifies everything in this table. Similarly, we have the primary keys for other tables as well: ticket ID, airport ID, route ID, etc. Now let's see what the foreign key is. Now the user ID in this user table here is a primary key. In the booking table, the user ID is foreign key. So any changes related to user ID must be considered in both the tables. So one user ID can have multiple bookings. So the relationship between the user table and booking table is one-to-many. Similarly, one flight can have multiple bookings. So there will be a lot of users or passengers on the same flight. So the relationship between flight and booking tables is one-to-many. Similarly, we have the pilot. Same pilot can operate different flights at different times. So the relationship here is also one-to-many. Then similarly, we have the one-to-many relationships here. Single airline can have multiple routes. So different flights of the same airline can be operating in different routes. So the relationship here is also one-to-many. Now, this is the list of the tables created in this database project: airline, airport, booking, flight, flight pilot, pilot, route, and user. So now let's see each of these tables and how these tables are created. So coming to the first airline table, here airline ID is the primary key, and we have three different attributes or columns, that is name, code, and country. This table contains the information about different airlines. So basically this gives information as within the name itself. This table gives information about airlines. So the airline ID is the primary key and it is of integer data type and is auto incremented whenever it is created or generated. Then the other fields are name, code, and country, and these have data type of varchar. So, and the query used to create this table is shown here. The next table is airport table. So this table contains information about different airports. It has 5 fields in which the airport ID is the primary key and it has a data type of integer and is auto incremented. The other fields in the table: name, city, country, and code. These fields have the data type of varchar and the primary key is airport ID. And this is the query used to create this table. Next, booking table. In the booking table, this table contains the booking information about the user, like the ticket ID, seat number assigned to the user, the class in which the user is flying, that is, the user might be flying in either economy or first class. It has 6 fields in which ticket ID is the primary key, and we have other fields among which the flight ID and user ID are the foreign keys. And the other fields are seat number, class, and updated at. This is the query used to create the booking table. As you can see here, ticket ID is of integer data type and is auto incremented. Flight ID is of integer data type. Seat number is of varchar. Class is also of varchar. And the user ID attribute is of integer data type. Updated at contains the timestamp and it should be not null. On update current timestamp, and ticket ID is the primary key and the flight ID is foreign key and it references to the flight ID in the flight table, where the flight ID in this flight table is primary key. On delete cascade. So this on delete cascade ensures that referential integrity is enforced successfully. So if any changes are made in one of these tables, then it automatically reflects in the other table as well. So it prevents the creation of orphan records. So we are enforcing referential integrity here. Then user ID, same in the case of user ID as well. It is foreign key here and it references to the user ID in user table, which is the primary key in this user table. And we are enforcing referential integrity here as well. The next table is flight table. This table consists of the flight information such as flight ID, the departure date, and the time of flight, arrival date, and time. This table consists of 7 fields in which flight ID is the primary key and route ID is the foreign key. The other fields in this table are departure time, departure date, arrival time, arrival date, route ID and updated at. This is the query used to generate this table. So flight ID, the column flight ID is of integer data type and is auto incremented. Departure time is set by default to 00. Departure date, arrival time and arrival date are set to 0 default as well. Then the route ID is of integer data type and updated at contains the timestamp of the latest update made in the table, and it should be not null. On update, current timestamp, and as told, flight ID is the primary key and route ID is the foreign key, and it references to route ID in the route table. And on delete cascade ensures referential integrity is enforced. The next table is flight pilot table. It has 2 columns, and this table basically contains the information about pilots operating a particular flight. The flight ID here is foreign key. Pilot ID is also foreign key. So this is the query used to create the flight pilot table. Both are of integer data type, and this flight ID is a foreign key and it references to flight ID in the flight table. Pilot ID is foreign key and it references to the pilot ID in pilot table. On delete cascade ensures referential integrity is enforced successfully. Pilot table. Now, in this pilot table, this table contains information about pilots such as their names, pilot ID, and experience. It has 4 fields in which pilot ID is the primary key, and the other fields are first name, last name, and experience. This is the query used to generate this table, and pilot ID is of integer data type and is auto incremented. The first name and last name are of varchar data type. Experience is of integer data type and pilot ID is the primary key. Now the next table is route table. The route table, this table contains information about the routes of the flight. It consists of 4 fields in which the route ID is the primary key, and the other fields in the table are airline ID, departure airport ID, and arrival airport ID. And all these 3 are foreign keys. This is the query used to generate this route table. Now, the route ID is of integer data type and is auto incremented. Airline ID, departure airport ID, and arrival airport ID are of integer data type. Primary key in this table is the route ID, and then the airline ID is a foreign key and it references to airline ID in airline table. So basically, this airline ID is primary key in this airline table. Departure airport ID is a foreign key and it references to airport ID in airport table. Arrival airport ID is foreign key and it references to airport ID in airport table. Next, user table. This table contains the user information such as their first name, last name, email, password, and age. It contains 6 fields in which user ID is the primary field, primary key, and the rest of the fields in the table are first name, last name, email, password, and age. This is the query used to generate this table. As you can see, user ID is of integer data type and is auto incremented. First name, last name, email, and password are of varchar data type. Age is of integer data type, and the primary key here is user ID. Now let's see the different kinds of one-to-many relationships among these tables. So user and booking table. Single user can have multiple bookings. So the relationship among them is one-to-many. Then flight and booking table. Single flight can have multiple bookings. So the relationship is one-to-many. Same in the case of airport and route. Single airport can have many routes, so the relationship is one-to-many. Airline and route. Single airline can have multiple routes for different flights operating under it. So the relationship is one-to-many. Then pilot and flight pilot. Single pilot can be a pilot for multiple flights. So the relationship here is one-to-many. Now, referential integrity. Referential integrity is the rule that if table A contains a foreign key that matches the primary key of table B, the values of this foreign key must match the value of primary key for some row in table B, or it should be null. So the main purpose of this referential integrity is that it prevents the creation of orphan records, that is, records in the many side of a relationship that do not have a matching value in the one side of the relationship. As seen in the earlier slides, it's very important to have referential integrity enforced. For example, consider the user and booking tables. Delete cascade has been enforced, which ensures that the deletion of any user record also deletes all the booking records related to that user. Thus, referential integrity has been enforced successfully. Then coming to normalization. Data normalization could be a technique of organizing the data within the database. Normalization could be a systematic approach of decomposing tables into in order to eliminate the data redundancy and undesirable characteristics like insertion, update, and deletion anomalies. It is a multi-step method that puts information into tabular form by removing duplicated information from the relation tables. So the main two purposes of this normalization are to eliminate the redundant data and ensure that data dependencies make sense. That is, data is logically stored. Third nominal form. A table is said to be in third nominal form when it is in second nominal form and the only determinants it contains are candidate keys. Tables in third normal form conform to all the requirements of second normal form, but also exclude transitive dependencies. So what is transitive dependency? Let's see. A transitive dependency occurs if a non-key attribute determines another non-key attribute. Third nominal form is sometimes also referred to as Boy's code normal form. So in this project, the attributes are divided into different tables through which we can reduce the redundant data, which is nothing but third nominal form. So consider the booking table as shown below. It has multiple fields. So these are the fields in the booking table initially. So here ticket ID is the primary key. And if we know the ticket ID, it enables us to determine the rest of the fields in this table. Also, knowing the user ID, we can determine the first name, last name, email, and password and age of the user. So here, user ID is non-key attribute, but still it's enabling us to determine the fields, these fields. So this situation is called transitive dependency. So for the table to be in third nominal form, we have to eliminate this condition here. So how do we do this? We do this by dividing the table into two tables, namely booking table and user table. So now the fields in the booking table are ticket ID, flight ID, seat number, class, user ID, and update alert. And the fields in user table are user ID, first name, last name, email, password, and age. So now by dividing the table into two tables, we have eliminated the transitive dependency and these two tables are said to be third nominal form. There is a screenshot of this sample data from airline table. And similarly, let's see the sample data for other tables as well. So this is the sample data of airport table, booking table, flight table, flight pilot table, pilot table, route table, and user table. So you can see all the columns and the records in those tables. Now, let's see the queries I have developed in this project. The first query is to create or reserve flight for passenger. In order to reserve a flight for a passenger, so what we need to do, we need to insert a record into the booking table. We need to insert a record into the booking table with flight ID, seat number, class, and user ID values. So this is the query, and I have run the query by giving these values in here, and this is the output. This screenshot of output. Next, the second query is to delete or cancel flight for a passenger. To cancel a booking, we need to remove record from the booking table. We would find the records whose flight ID, seat number, class, and user ID matches the provided input and delete it. So this is the query for deleting or canceling the flight. So delete from booking table, and we match the ticket ID, user ID of the user who wants to cancel his flight. And this is the screenshot after running the query. To see the planes with 10 plus passengers, that is to see the planes with greater than whose passengers are greater than or equals to 10. To see the planes with 10 plus passengers, we need to do the following steps. Fetch the flight ID and count of tickets from booking table. Here we fetch the count and flight ID by grouping flight ID. And we'll use this query result to fetch records whose ticket count is greater than 10, greater than or equals to 10. We've mentioned the condition in the where clause here. And when I run this query, this is the screenshot of the result obtained. To see the flight with the highest average, the next query is to see the flight with the highest average of age of passengers. To see the planes with highest average age of passengers, we need to follow the below steps. First, we would create an inner query. This is the inner query that would fetch flight ID, average age, and average age information for that flight ID by joining the booking user, the user ID, by joining the user ID from booking table and user ID from user table. And it also joins the flight ID from flight table with flight ID in flight table. And we group by flight ID here as we are interested in getting average age by flight. Now in the outer query, we select maximum of the average age from the results produced by this inner query. And after running this query, the result obtained is shown below. I mean shown here. The next query is to see the list of economy class passengers in each airplane. So to see all the passengers that are traveling on economy class, we need to join booking table, user ID, with the user ID in user table. Then select the flight ID, first name and last name. This is the query, and the result of this query is shown here. So this is the list of economy class passengers in each plane. The next query is to see the list of flights to a specific destination. To see the list of flights to a specific destination, we need to join flight, route, and airport tables. So first, we create two instances of airport, one that points to the source airport and origin, and the other that points to destination. Then we join route ID from flight table with the route ID in route table, then join departure airport ID in route table with airport ID in airport table, and similarly we join arrival airport ID in route table with airport ID in airport table. Then we select these fields, and this is the query to see the list of flights to a specific destination, and the result after running this query is shown here. So I have kept the destination here as Los Angeles. The next query is to see the list of airlines that operate from a particular city or country to another city or country. So here, to see all the airlines that operate for a given origin destination, we need to join route, airline, and airport tables. So first we create two instances of airport, say A1 and A2, one that points to origin and the other that points to destination. Then we join airport ID, departure airport ID in route table with airport ID in airport table. Then we join arrival airport ID in route table with airport ID in airport table. Similarly, we join airline ID in route table with airline ID in airline table. Finally, we order the result by airline name. This is the query, and the result of the query is shown here. So I have kept the filter for country as United States, city as San Francisco, and the destination country as France and city as Paris. The next query is to search for flights with given departure city, arrival city, and departure date. To see all the flights that operate for a given origin destination on a given date, we need to join flight, route, airline, and airport tables. First, we create two instances of airport, one that points to origin and another that points to destination, origin and destination. Then we join origin flight route ID with route ID in route table. Then we join the departure airport ID in route table with the airport ID in airport table. Then we join arrival airport ID in route table with airport ID in airport table. And finally, we join airline ID in route table with airline ID in airline table. Then we select these fields. This is the query, and the result of the query is shown here. Here I have selected the cities as source and destination cities as San Jose and Los Angeles, and the departure date as 25th December 2015. This is the result obtained. Now let's see the list of passengers arriving to a particular airport. So to see all the passengers arriving at a given airport, we need to join user, booking, flight, route, airline, and airport tables. Below are the steps. Create two instances of airport, one that points to origin and the other that points to destination. Then we join flight ID from booking table with flight ID in flight table, user ID from booking table with user ID in user table, route ID in flight table with route ID in route table, airline ID in route table with airline ID in airline table, departure airport ID in route table with airport ID in airport table. And similarly, we join the arrival airport ID from route table with airport ID in airport table, and the code from airport table with airport name, departure time, date from the flight table with date. So here, as you can see, I have filtered the code as SJC and the departure date as December 25th, 2015, and the result of the query is shown here. The next query is to see flights with longest duration. So in order to see the flights with longest duration, we select flight ID, timestamp difference between the departure time and arrival time, and we group by flight ID, order by time difference in descending order. This is the query, and this is the result of the query. The next query is to see the number of passengers for each flight given airline and date. To see the number of passengers for each flight with given airline and date, we need to join user, booking, flight, route, airline, and airport tables. So first, what we do here is we create two instances of airport, one that points to origin and the other that points to destination. Then we join user ID from booking table with user ID in user table, route ID in flight table with route ID in route table, and airline ID from route table with airline ID in airline table, departure airport ID from route table with airport ID in airport table, arrival airport ID from route table with airport ID in airport table. Then we match the airline name and departure date and group by flight ID. So this is the query, and I have kept filter for the Southwest Airlines and the departure date as 25th December 2015. The result of this query is shown here. And that's about the queries. And this is just a screenshot from the MySQL Workbench, the DDL query of the tables created, and this is the columns. These are the columns in the airline table. And these are the data types. And these values specify whether the fields are nullable or not. Similarly, this is for airport table. This is the query used to generate the airport table. And this is the column. These are the columns here, data types and the nullable values. Similarly, in the case of booking table, this is a query. As you can see here, the flight ID and user ID are foreign key and they reference to flight ID and user ID in flight and user tables respectively. And the updated at timestamp has a default value of 0 here. And similarly, these are the columns, data types here, and the nullable values, if whether they are nullable or not. Similarly, in the case of flight table, this is the query. This is the screenshot of the columns in the table, and the default values are shown here. Next, the flight pilot table, the query used to generate the table. Then these are the columns, data types and nullable values. Then the pilot table, this is the query used to create the pilot table. These are the columns, the data types and nullable values. Similarly, the route table, you can see the 3 foreign keys here. Airline ID, departure airport ID and arrival airport ID, and they reference to the airline ID, airport ID and airport ID in airline, airport and airport tables respectively. So the columns, data types and nullable values. And the last table, user table, you can see the query here, and these are the columns in the table, the data types and if they are nullable or not. This is the end of my project. So now let's see the query execution. So now I'm opening my SQL workbench and now let's run the queries. This is the first query to create a reserved flight for passenger. So now let's run this query. First we have to specify the values. So I'm specifying the flight ID as 1, seat number as 1, and the class as economy, and the user ID as 1. So now let's run this query. As you can see, the values have been successfully inserted into the table. Now let's go to the next query. The second query is to delete or cancel the flight for passenger. So here we have to specify the flight ID. In the previous query, we have given flight ID as 1, seat number as 1, class selection as economy, and user ID as 1. So here we don't know the ticket ID. So first, let's see the ticket ID. So I'm running to find the ticket ID. I'm running this query. Select ticket ID from booking table, and I kept the filter for flight ID, seat number, class, and user ID. So once I run this, I get my ticket ID as 318. So I will give 318 here. And now let's run this. So it has been successfully deleted, as you can see here. The third query is to see the planes with 10 plus passengers. So copying this query. So now let's run this. And as you can see, this is the flight ID and the user count who have which is greater than or equals to 10. The next query to see the flight with highest average age of passengers. And I run this. You can see the maximum average age here. The next query is to see the list of economy class passengers in each plane. So this is the list of economy passengers in each plane. This is the flight ID, you can see. And this is the first name and last name of the passengers. The next query to see the list of flights to specific destination. So I'm copying this query and I'm giving the destination as Los Angeles. And let's run this. So here you can see the output. Then the next query is to see the list of airlines that operate from a particular city or country to another particular city or country. So now here I'm going to give the destination from country as United States. From city as San Francisco. And to country as France and to city as Paris. So now let's run this query. This is the list of flights from San Francisco, United States to Paris in France. The next query is to search for flights with given departure city, arrival city, and departure date. Here we give the origin as San Jose and destination as Los Angeles. And the date as December 25th, 2015. And let's run this query now. So you can see the result here. The next query is to see the list of passengers arriving to an airport. So I'm giving the airport name as SJC and the date as 2015 12/25. Let's run this. So these are the list of passengers details. You can see here. Then the next query is to see the flights with longest duration. So these are the flights with longest duration. And we have ordered by time difference in descending order. So you can see the result in descending order of time difference. The last query. The last query is to see the number of passengers for each flight given airline and date. So now let's give the airline and date and see the number of passengers. I'm giving the airlines as Southwest Airlines. And the date as 2015 12/25. 25. So now let's run this query. So this is the user number on these flights. With this, the execution of queries is completed, and you can see the tables are created here, and the columns of these are the columns in airline table, columns in airport table. Similarly, we have the columns in booking table, flight pilot table, pilot route, and user tables. Thank you, Dr. Su. Have a good day.